for being here. You know, I have the very hard task of following three of the smartest, most able, and best-looking constitutional officers in the whole nation. And I want to see you get out there and tomorrow. You know, yesterday we were all in Waterbury late in the evening, and I was reminded of an evening like this one, 42 years ago, when a presidential candidate named John F. Kennedy came home to Connecticut. And people waited at a rally like this one, waited in the rain, hour after hour, past midnight, because John F. Kennedy was coming home to the democratic values and vision. And that's what we are doing here tonight. We are bringing Connecticut home to the democratic values and vision. And that's why we're going to win tomorrow.
That was supposed to be amended out, so I didn't know that. But I do feel good. How about all of you? It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce one of the finest.
Saying on the way in here, you can't pay any attention to these polls. You really can't. I'll tell you why. And I'm talking from experience. I remember back in 1994, in what was a heartbreaking loss for the citizens of the state of Connecticut, I was ahead 2-1 in the polls. Feeling high, wide, and handsome. Yeah. Boy. But when the people of this state came out for Bill Curry, they turned out the vote, and we can do it again. We're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to make sure that Bill Curry, the next governor of the state, introduce United States Senator Joseph Lieberman.
Look, I know what the polls say. Forget the polls. Tomorrow is the day when the pollsters stop predicting and the pundits stop analyzing, even we politicians stop talking. Tomorrow is the people's day. And with your help, the people are going to come out and elect Bill Curry, George Jefferson, the entire state ticket, Jim Maloney, Joe Courtney, even States Senate in 1988, and all the experts said I didn't have a chance. The polls were against us. But we didn't listen to the polls, did we? We went out and brought our case to the people, just like Bill Curry and George Jefferson have. Has anybody in this room not heard me tell the story about the little boy in the wagon? Oh, good, I'm going to tell it. I got elected in 1988. Now remember, I only got elected by less than 1% of the vote. But you know what? When it came time to take the oath of office, I took the same oath as everybody else, and so will Bill Curry. All right, after I got elected, a lot of people who didn't support me in Washington came in to see me to tell me what a great statesman I had become since Election Day. You know? And one man handled this awkward situation by telling me that my election reminded him of a story he had heard about a little boy pulling a wagon along the sidewalk, and the wheels fell off, and the little boy said, "I'll be damned." Picked up the wheels, put them back on the wagon, further. Again, the wheels fell off. This time he's getting really angry. He shouts out, "I'll be damned." Just then, his minister comes by. Says, "Son, you know, when something bad like that happens to you, you shouldn't swear. You should affirm your faith in God." So the little boy put the wheels back on the wagon, pulled it a little further. Again, the wheels fall off, but this time, his minister's right there. He remembers his advice, and he shouts out, "Praise the Lord." The wheels jump up off the sidewalk, reattach themselves to the wagon, and the minister says, "I'll be damned." It's great to have President Clinton coming here tonight. President Clinton always reminded us, didn't he, that every election is about the future, about the party's vision of the future and the candidate's vision of the future. Our candidates here, our party, couldn't have presented a different vision than our opponents. We are the mainstream party in this state and around the country. The other party is far to the right of the mainstream. We have become, since President Clinton, the party of fiscal responsibility and economic growth. The reason we're going to win these elections tomorrow is that the people are tired of the lack of any economic leadership, any protection of jobs, any willingness to extend unemployment compensation and raise the minimum wage from the current Republican leadership in Washington and Hartford, which seems to have an economic policy they took from Alfred E. Newman of Mad Magazine. What? Be worried! The American people are worried. Bill Curry knows that. George Jepson knows that. They presented a great ticket and a great program to the people of Connecticut, and that's why, with your help, they will win tomorrow. My dear friends, it is now my honor to present to you the great senior senator from Connecticut, not the most senior even after Strom Thurmond retires this year, but senior in our hearts and in service to our beloved state, my dear friend and yours, the great Senator Chris Dodd.
President Bill Clinton coming back to Connecticut. Let's welcome him here. Now listen, we've got a great turnout here tonight, the eve of a great election. I want to thank all of you on a rough night to come out and send this great Democratic team off tomorrow to bring back the victory for this party, but far more importantly for the people of this state, the people of America. We've got great candidates. You just listen to our constitutional officers. You listen to our congressional candidates, and from John Larson and Rosa DeLauro, Stephanie Sanchez in the 4th District, we're going to make Jim Maloney the congressman in the 5th District. And I'm going to tell you, in that 2nd Congressional District, Joe Courtney is going to be the congressman. Get out and vote that bill. You know, I want to tell you a little story about our state leaders, Bill Curry and George Jepson. In 1980, when I was running for the United States Senate, I had black hair back in those days. You may remember that. I'm looking out here. I see a few gray heads around here. We're forming a new club. Young, very attractive people with gray hair. That's a new one. But I remember there was a young man who offered to be the field coordinator for the Dodd campaign in 1980. And what a job he did for us in 1980, then went on to the state legislature and did a fabulous job there. And now he's going to be our next lieutenant governor of the state of Connecticut, George Jepson. Let's hear it. George Jepson, a great person. Let me tell you how exciting it's going to be to change the present occupant of the governor's mansion with Bill Curry. I remember again, going back some 30 years ago, there was a young student at Georgetown University, and my dad was in a tough
re-election battle in the state, and a young man at Georgetown University couldn't afford to come back in a wild snowstorm to be here for the election on the airplane. So he stuck out his thumb outside the gates of Georgetown University, and he hitchhiked to come home. The campaign for my father, and I'll never forget it. His name is Bill Curry. He's going to be the next governor of the state of Connecticut. We love him dearly. And my friends, look, we need to get out. Joe Lieberman said it well. We can't listen to these pollsters. We've watched more races about the state history here when pollsters said that the races were over. They're not over at all. The people who make the decision, they're the ones who decide who the governor will be, not the pollsters. It's you who decide that race. You get out, you walk it up. Over these next 24 hours, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, talk to co-workers tomorrow, talk to people you meet on the street, how important it is to vote in this election, to get out and make the choice. And don't make the choice necessarily just on the basis of party or individual. Ask them to vote their own self-interest, their enlightened self-interest. Now listen, if you think the economy of this state and of this country is headed in the right direction, then maybe you ought to vote for the other guys. But if you think, like most Americans do, that we could do a lot better job in Washington, D.C., and a lot better job in Hartford, Connecticut, then let's vote for the Democrats. We're lucky this evening. We're fortunate here in Connecticut to have, of course, one of the greatest Democrats this country ever produced. A great, great president for 8 years. This president left the incoming administration a healthier economy than any other president has left an incoming administration in the history of the United States. And this administration in 2 years is squandering that. Let's bring it back. The Democrats are going to hold the United States Senate. We're going to win back the House of Representatives. And we're going to take back the governor's mansion here in Connecticut. Let's welcome this state.
Our next congressman from the 2nd District, Joe Court. Joe. I bring you good news from Eastern Connecticut. We are going to shock the world tomorrow. And we're going to do it because is that the voters in Eastern Connecticut now see the choice. They see priorities from my opponent, who's in there for special interest pharmaceutical companies, big business. He's not there for working families. And when the voters see that choice, the momentum is starting to shift to the Democratic Party. Bill Curry is for working families. He is going to make sure. Talk about public education every 4 years in commercials and radio ads. He will be there every day as the governor. sure our children will have quality educations, have an opportunity to compete in their adult lives. It is my honor to now introduce someone who I have known since 1986 when we entered the state legislature together. I told people a lot during the last year. I'm probably the only person in Connecticut who had both Bill Curry and George Jepson at their wedding. And so it was a very tough time last summer when the two of them were going at it. And it was a very happy day when the two of them came together and joined their minds and their hearts with the finest ticket offered to the people of the state of Connecticut with the most wonderful leadership. I'll never forgive him. George Jepson is somebody who, as president of the Senate, will be a partner in government with Bill Curry. He is not going to be there for photo ops and ribbon cuttings. He is there to make policy for the people of Connecticut, and there is nobody in the state Senate for the last 2 decades who's made better.
Man, they are extraordinary. They make us proud. And thank you. Thank you for the incredible honor to be nominated and to serve as candidate for Lieutenant Governor these last 4 months. It's been an incredible honor. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. At this time, I want to introduce to you a proud son of the North End of Hartford, a man who loves Connecticut, a man who bleeds Connecticut, my running mate, Bill Curry. For the minimum wage, to protect the environment. He's fought for these things because he's a Democrat through and through. He has true democratic values. We are the party of equal opportunity. We are the party. We are the party that seeks to level the playing field. We are the party of inclusion. We're the party that is an advocate for those in the...
Thank you, everybody. I want to first of all thank this entire Democratic ticket, my chairman, John Olson, our United States senators who have helped me and stayed with me in friendship and political partnership throughout this. Thank you. My friend, John Larson, whose career I made, really. And I want to thank fabulous Hurricanes from New Britain. And I want to thank the Welcome Baptist Church. I saw President Clinton earlier this year in New York, and I told him the next night I was going to be addressing Baptist ministers from around the state. He gave me a wonderful piece of advice. He said, "You better be good." But I just want to say to the close race I had, I was sitting home in Farmington, kind of rocking back and forth in the fetal position, and the phone rang, and it was the President of the United States. So I took it. I didn't have much else going on, and he offered me the chance of a lifetime to come and serve as counsel to the President. I worked on policy with Bill Clinton. I played a small role, but I helped to negotiate the 1995 federal budget that brought down interest rates, paid off the farm for the first time since Harry Truman, and put this nation on the road to prosperity. And we did the things Republicans used to do. The Republicans were once the party of fiscal responsibility. That's us now. They were the party of social tolerance, once the party of Lincoln, no more. They were the party of environmental defense. Bill Clinton put the cop back on the environmental beat, set aside national lands, cleaned up our air and our water. And most importantly, he revived everything our party has been, the Democratic Party. And made it once again a champion for working people, for the excluded, and for the left out. I tell people, in the time I was there, that this is a great and important race, and to every person in this state, that you could have a government which is fiscally responsible, which is socially just, which balances the books and which fosters real growth, and which gives us all a dream.
because our children will inhabit our dreams, and we must dream large. The person who has done more than any other living American to show us that government can again be the common instrument of the people to lift up everyone. My old boss, my friend, the President of the United States, Bill Clinton.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support for all these fine candidates. Thank you for your support for me in 1992 and 1996, and for Al Gore and Joe Lieberman in 2000. I want to thank Senator Dodd and Senator Lieberman, my friends of many years, and Congressman Larson, for the help they gave me. The good things that I was able to do as president would not have been possible without their support, their advice, and their constant friendship. I am here tonight because I love Connecticut. I lived here for 3 years. I learned a lot of what I know about politics working here 30 years ago. I met the junior senator from New York here in Connecticut when we were in law school together. I'm here because I care about Connecticut, because you helped me, you stood with me, and we worked together. I'm here because I care about Bill Curry, and I care about Joe Courtney. And I want you to put them out. In any time, Bill Curry would be a good candidate for governor because he cares about the issues and he knows about the issues and he actually has run on the issues. I loved having him in the White House. He had a new idea every day. And most of them were pretty good. And I liked having people who actually thought, who didn't mind disagreeing, who didn't mind saying, here might be a better way to do this better. And who didn't mind sitting around and listening to other people's ideas and thinking whether maybe they would be better. You know, I know a little something about being governor. I did the job for 12 years before I became president. And I know something about being governor in tough times. Now, I can't do anything about the fact that that crowd in Washington is setting economic policy and they kind of set us back. But I can give you some advice about what to do when times are tough. I'll say again, in 10 of the 12 years I was governor, we had an unemployment rate above the national average. We had terrible difficulties, but in every single year we found a way to take care of our children and the fundamental needs of elderly people, the disabled, the people who depended upon the state. We found ways to change the economic development strategy of the state, to begin to grow the state in a different direction and diversify the economy and swim against the tide of the national trends. Because we work together and because that's what our priorities are. And when you have a difficult time, it's more important than ever to have a smart, competent, aggressive, active, strong governor. Bill Curry will be that kind of governor. To give Medicare, to give drug coverage to senior citizens. How wonderful it was. And then they had, these ads were run under an alias. It was almost like they were robbing a bank or something. They didn't use their real name. You know somebody's ashamed of something when they won't tell you they paid for it, right? So they called them United Seniors Over 60 or some gobbledygook like that. And they got poor old Art Linkletter and Wilford Brimley, who's a friend of mine, to be these ads. Well, they, you know, they're hardly experts in health policy. They probably believe what they were told too. And they said, thank your Republican congressman for giving you drug coverage. Well, it turned out they didn't cover everybody. It wasn't through Medicaid. The drug companies wrote the bill they voted for, and the bill contained a huge transfer of your tax dollars right into their coffers for not covering everybody. The whole thing was totally misleading, and they knew it was misleading, otherwise they would have put their name on it. They wouldn't say, this ad was brought to you by the drug companies who are making billions of dollars, which is why we can afford $1 million to dump on Joe Courtney. And we're making billions out of this deal. But nobody knew. So I walk in and I expect everybody, you know, to be dressed in black and glum. But they're happy. And they ain't quit yet. And Joe Courtney gets one walk in. And what I want to tell you is something else. When Dick Blumenthal and I were in law school together, 100 years, it's amazing. I mean, he looks 20 years younger than me. I really resent it. We were sort of used to losing elections. We thought maybe we'd never win again, but we thought we were right, and we just kept fighting. So I got a chance to serve in '92. Now here's what I want to say. And you look at these candidates. Lieutenant Governor Jefferson and Governor Curry and Congressman Courtney. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And here's what I want to say. We tried it the Republicans' way for 12 years, didn't we? All through the 80s into the early 90s. And then we tried it our way for 8 years. And then we didn't win the 2000 election by enough. Supreme Court, so they won 5-4 out of 288 million voters. They get the White House 5-4. And so we tried it their way for 2 years. So we had 12 years of their way, 8 years of our way, 2 years of their way. We lost $400 billion in IRAs and 401k accounts. Unemployment going up, poverty going up, number of people without health insurance going up again. And here's what I want to say. It's not like we don't have any evidence here. Our way works better. The other night I was in New York, and I went to a banquet to raise money for multiple sclerosis. I have a very close friend there who's had MS for 30 years, and I wanted to support her and speak at this banquet. And so they had one of these little receptions beforehand, you know, a couple hundred people wandering around. And this guy came up to me. He was about a time and a half my size. He was a big man. And he looked at me and he said, I'm a Republican stockbroker, and I voted against you twice. And he said, but I'd sure like to have you back now. You elect Joe Curry tomorrow. He's going to be in a minority of new governors. Most of the new governors are going to be women Democrats. 7 of them. And it'll be good for him. It'll keep him humble, you know, and he'll learn some things from all those women. They'll teach him a thing or two. You elect Joe Courtney, and we're just 5 votes away from being able to stop them when they try to reverse all the environmental things we have. We're going to stop them when they're doing what they're doing now, holding back billions of dollars of educational funding that the Congress has already approved. Stop them, I hope, before it's too late, from giving me a tax cut out of the Social Security trust funds of middle-class people who work just as hard as I did all their life. That's bad ethics, bad policy, and horrible economics. And thank you, Joe Lieberman and Chris, for speaking out against that. Senator Lieberman went to Detroit and gave a great speech about it. I'm telling you, we're different from them. Now, they're not bad people. I don't ever want you to be mean to them personally. I don't ever want you to treat them the way they treated me and Hillary. And the way they still do. I told old Tom Daschle, I said when he became majority leader, I said, you better get ready for it. Now they're going to demonize you. And sure enough, they're running ads with little bobbin head dolls with Daschle's picture on it. as if he were a member of the Communist Party. He's a senator from South Dakota, for goodness sakes. It's a lot more conservative than Connecticut. It's more conservative than Arkansas and more rural than Arkansas. And they're trying to convince all their cultural base that Tom Daschle's some sort of left-wing crazy. Why are they doing that? I know why they're doing that. Newt Gingrich told me one time in a moment of unguarded openness, he said, he was in the White House one night and he got a little loose-lipped and he said, gosh, I hate it that we've been so vicious to you. He said, but you know, we've got to convince people you're no good. If we fought you fair, we'd lose every time. And well, I'm telling you, they may have more money. They may be able to dump ads like they dumped on Joe. They may be able to go around and try to intimidate voters. But if you want to win bad enough, you're going to win tomorrow. This is all about you still are free to get up tomorrow and make a decision. Not only to go, but to take people and to call people. You can leave here tonight and go home and call 10 or 12 people. You can change some votes tonight. You can convince people they ought to go vote that they don't think they're going to go vote. You can do this. There are enough people in this room tonight to affect 20 or 30,000 votes tomorrow if you want to do it. That will elect Joe Biden. Don't you doubt it. Most people never have somebody like you call and say, I just went to this rally. Here's what I heard. Here's why we ought to be for this guy. Now, I'm telling you, the governor of the state of Connecticut in the next 4 years is going to have a challenging time. Because we've gone from surplus to deficit. Because the economy's down. And the governor can't print money. You get in trouble for doing that unless you're president of Congress. So you have to make choices. You have to say yes to the right things and no to the right things. You have to make judgments. And you have to do it in a decent and humane way that puts the children and the future and the people who need help first. Please give life to them. Here's the future I want for my children and my grandchildren. Build it for me. You got some people who will do that. You can be proud of them. They will serve you well. But they can't serve you well unless you show up for them tomorrow and bring people with you. Think about it. You got 30,000 votes in this room, but if you bring them, you win tomorrow. Thank you, and God bless you.